Okay, thank you so much for watching these videos. My name is Kanye Simon. By the time we are watching this, we have 802 subscribers. I encourage you to subscribe, support and donate to this channel, comment, like and share. I read every comment personally because I need to know I need to get feedback from you. All right, so we have now our dashboard, okay, and we are logged in. You can see that login and register is no longer available, but we cannot log out, okay, because we need to create something for the logout. Now remember that the tokens and the authentication comes from your API. So the way you design your API is what view will receive, and we're trying to go around it. Now remember, you can also use sessions, okay, to store this content. So you can use sessions to store this content. So anyway, it depends on you and how you work out your security or with your web security to the application. All right, so let's go ahead and create our logout function. So this will be with the @click, okay. So we're going to work out the logout. Okay, so we've created the initial set for the logout. So we need to go now in our methods, and then we'll create one called logout. So we're creating the logout method, just like we have initiated it here, so that when someone clicks, we can see what is coming through the logout. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a console.log. I usually want this away so that we can be able to see console.log. Okay, and then our tag will be auth, and then we shall be picking out let's just display message that logout clicked. Okay, so we need to come to our browser, right click and inspect. I'm using Edge, okay. So no matter what you choose to use, but the whole thing is that Chrome has everything. So when I click, okay, you can see that auth logout, which is auth, our auth tag, and then logout is clicked. So which means we can do a dispatch to our function the other side. Okay, so we are going to do a dispatch, which dispatch will be this.store, okay, dot dispatch. Okay, and then what are we dispatching? And then the load. Now if you're using a plugin or an extension of Visual Studio Code, you can do if you have a plugin for Vue.js, okay. So I can do VM dispatch, and I see dispatch VM. Let me do VM Vuex, okay, or Vuex, and yes, Vuex dispatch in action. Let me see. Okay, so there you go. It is giving us this .store dispatch, and then the action, and then the payload. So the action name it is giving us here is the action name that I've created here, which is the logout. Okay, so I can take off this, and then also take off this. Okay, so we are good to go. So our action name is going to be logout user. So logout user, and then we don't need a payload because whatever content we need is going to be already the other side. For example, we just need a token. Okay, so I've just commented this out because we've already tested that when we click, everything works. So if I click on logout, okay, everything works. Now, we need to go and set out the action. So in our store.js, I've created an indicator that I'm for the params that I'm going to be creating the logout user. Okay, so if you have still an extension, you can create again. For example, what we have here is an action. Okay, so you see I've just created V, and then I can choose that I want to create a V action, and it's going to create one for me. Okay, so action, great. So you can see it has created everything that I would need for the action. Okay, so now which means if I was creating for the first time, I wouldn't need to create all this action and whatsoever. So for example, this would be the updated value and that. So what I'm going to do, remember when we come back to our logout in the nav, we are dispatching to logout user. So I'm going to come back and do one for the logout user, which I want to be an async, and then logout user, just like that. So this will take in the state, and then the rest will go through like that. All right, so we want to make sure that we have everything. I can do a console.log here, but let's go straight to Axios. All right, so I'm going to first create a configuration for Axios. So var config, variable config, and this configuration is going to contain what Axios is going to do. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is have the method, not the v method. Those are two different things. So which method is going to be a post, and then I put a comma. You can see that this one is different from the other one that I created before. This one I'm sending some headers. So I'm putting the URL that is going to be used. Okay, so which URL? I'm going to use one called API stroke logout user. Stroke logout user, because that's the endpoint that I'm sending to. Okay, I think with that we're done. Then inside I need headers, so I'm going to create one called headers, and then this headers is going to be an object, and the first thing we're going to have is a content type. Let me see if I can achieve the content type. So content type, okay. Let me just, I thought I would have some auto generation, but it's okay, can't get it. So content type is going to be application stroke JSON, application stroke JSON. Okay, I think that is it. And then we can be able to terminate our configuration here. So now we're going to set up our Axios. So the Axios will take in the config at once because it already has all the configuration required. So we're going to have Axios, but our Axios is going to await since we have async up there. So Axios, and it's going to take in our config. And then we can start adding or concatenating. So then after that, what should happen? We should have a function, okay, which function should be able to generate us a response. Okay. So this closing bracket should be here. Okay. So therefore, what response should we get? Okay. We are going to get response.data. So we can console.log response.data maybe, and we see what we have from response.data, and we see what we get from the endpoint. Okay, so let's try again. I need to inspect. Okay, make sure that I'm at the console, and let's log out. All right, we have an error of the undefined, so which means I need to visit my API route here. It is undefined. Let me double check what I've. That should be the endpoint. Okay, let this be small URL. Okay, so URL. So let's go ahead and send again. Okay, so we okay. But now look at this. It is saying that we are unauthorized. It's saying that we are unauthorized. Great. So what does this mean? Because we have a token, okay, we needed to store the token too, okay, on the user login. So we needed to store the token too. So what do we need to do? Just like we did for the user, even the token should be stored. So that's why I'm uncommenting that. So remember, we have an array, and in the array, index number 0 is the user credentials. Then index 1 is the token. So which means even in the token here, okay, I should retrieve it from the local storage if stored, but I've not stored it this time. So I don't remember which token that I have. Okay, so this should be token. Okay, so token all empty. So which means in the local storage, we should store the token as an item and also set it for the user for the first time. Great, because we don't know when someone will refresh. Now, again, if I send, I don't think I'll get anything. I'll still be unauthorized because I didn't store the token previously. Okay, so what should I do? I'm going to first flash out. I'm going to flash out with the current token and the user. Then I do that again. So I want the moment someone clicks, okay, we flash out the current, in the function here, we flash out the current token and the user from the local, okay, from the local storage. Okay, so how do we do that? Local storage dot remove item. Which item are we removing first? The user. Okay, then we're also going to do local storage dot remove item, and then the second item that we are removing is the token, if any. But it's not the right place to do it right now, but I'm just going to flash out what is current so that I log in the user again. So when I log out, great, there we go. If I refresh, we have gone back to the login. So which means now this is no longer necessary at the moment. Okay. So which means we are going to be able to store the token. Okay. Now, how do we retrieve that token? We create another getters here where we are getting the token. So I've done a console.log to give us the token. Okay, but here it can return state.token. So let us do it again. So let's log in. And then we have a password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Log in. Great. So we are logged in. Okay. And we have that token already. Okay. So I want to get the token from the getters and then equate it to because it's already here. Okay. Get user token. So I'm going to go to my logout user and then I find a way of getting the user token. So I'll select token. Okay, let's stored token for easy understanding. Let's stored token equal to, and then it is equal to where we are getting there. So we are going to have this dot getters, okay, dot get user token. Okay, then we are going to do a console.log where we shall be getting the stored token and we print it to stored token. Okay, so remember we want to send with the token if we are to retrieve anything. Okay, so let me reload again. Log out, which means we are getting the token now, which is the first print here is from the first print there is from the getters here because you've triggered the getters. So let me do something small here. Getters. Okay, then I concatenate. I just need to add a plus. Then let me do it up there. That this is from the logout function. Where are you? Over here. This is from the logout function. Okay, then I need also to change this router.go to the dashboard because it's taking me to register and it's giving me errors to the dashboard. Okay. So when I click logout, you can see the first one is from the getters, the other is from our function, which means we're getting them both. Okay, so we need to send the token along, where are you? So we need to send the token along in the headers, okay, in the headers of Axios. Now, let this be a constant, okay, so that it is done once and for all. Okay, so how do we do that? We're going to send it as a default in Axios. So Axios.default, so that it stores it in its cache. Now, there's also another function. Axios is very wide. You can use which one works for you, okay, after reading through. So we're going to say Axios.defaults.headers, and then we add an array that we need to have the authorization. Mark this. This is supposed to be Z or Z, not S, based on the English that you are using. So we're sending a token, which token is bearer. Okay, we're sending a bearer token. Then we concatenate or we add our constant, which constant is the stored token. Okay, so let us see what we get now. We are going to log out. Okay, it is still saying that the user is unauthorized. Okay, so let's see. Now, what more do we need to capture? So let me first run this in Postman, and I get to clean out the user, and then I log in again. So I'm going to go to Postman bearer token, and then I send this. I need to know which user that's. Okay. Let me see which response. Okay. The message is logout. So which means that one is logged out. I'm going to sign in again. So that's why I need to uncomment this. Now, the reason I'm doing this is for learning purposes. I'm doing a breakdown structure of how to do it in the browser. Okay. Of course, I'll be unauthorized because already the other one is flashed out. Great. So let's log in again. I'll need to comment this. Okay. I'll need to comment that. And then we log in again. So we're going to log in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So it goes straight to the dashboard, which means we are in. So we want to log out. Let's see what we get. Okay, we are logged out now. So that's the message. So which means our token is working well. But after the logout now, what do we do? Because we've not, our condition, if I go to the components, our condition for displaying the name is if the user is logged in or if the user has nothing, being empty. So if the user is logged in, okay, you show the first name. And then you show the profile and logout. If the user is not logged in, that is the VLs, remember very well, then show the login, okay, and the register. Okay, so where is my logout? So this logout shouldn't be here. Show the login and the register. Great. So, which means we need to flash out because it's picking now from the cache memory. Okay, so we need to flash out. So which means I need to write a condition here. Okay, because we already now get the response.data, which response.data is this message that we are now logged out. Okay, so we need to pick now the status. So I'm going to get now, instead of response.data, I'm going to pick response.status, and then I see what we get. Okay, so I'll work out on the default, then we see. So I'm not logged out because I'm not authorized at all. So I need to first go back and uncomment my flash, because now that flash out is the one that is going to come with the if statement. Okay, mark it well. So I'm going to first flash out. Okay, so I've flashed out. So when I reload, it's taking me to the login and the register. All right, so let me comment this. But however, I want it now, because we have a computed property, I want it to automatically log out someone. Okay, so let me go and now log in again. Okay, the work ID, I've not attached it to anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, we log in, so the user is logged in. So we're going to now create an if statement that detects, okay, okay, the first thing I want to do is give you the status, sorry. So let's log out. Okay, the status of logging out is 200. But then I'm going to uncomment again, sorry. Then I do flash the local storage or cache, or you can flash the session. If you have the code for flashing out the session, that's what you would do. Sorry, I'm very sure. So it's showing unauthorized here because I'm not sending any token. So even if someone presses the logout over and over again, but now we're working with the browser logic. So, okay, I need to log in now. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then I log in. All right, so which means I need to write a condition here that determines if my status, if the status is 200, then, okay, so if response.status, okay, equates to 200, then do the following. Okay, so if response.status equals to 200, then first of all, flash out all these. Where's my flash out comments? These okay. So flash out from the local storage. And then you're going to do a router.push to home or to the default. So router.push to the default. So which default is just a stroke. Okay. So let's do that. Or anything that I've not stored. Okay, JSON stringify. Okay, the token, I think it's looking at the token now here. I'm using different. Okay, so I'll just okay, instead of using the JSON stringify, I'll just grab my token here. Now we shall see what the stringify does. No worries, I'll just use here. I'll just retrieve the token. Where is my item for getting the token? There it is. I think I'm safe. Okay, the token I was storing, a JSON stringified token, which was giving me different results. So I'll get a token, and then it is user 1. I think that's where the error was coming from. Okay, let's do it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Login. Okay, so let's log out. Great. So we have a status 200. We are logged out, but we're not getting our what? We're not getting the reroute. Okay? So, which means we need to flash. So if the status is equal to 200, so if the status is 200, we've managed to flash out, by the way. Let me go and try and reload here. You see, we've flashed out. So what we're going to do, we're going to push this to a commit, okay? So instead of using it here, okay, and the route here, okay, we're going to push this to a commit, okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to do a state.commit, okay? And then I push it somewhere to something like maybe update logout. Update logout. Update logout. Okay. Then here it will be doing a router push to something else. Okay, so we're going to go to our mutations, and then we create one called update logout. And then in the update logout, we're going now to change again. So we've been able to flash out, okay? We've been able to flash out, okay? But then we need also to change the state there and then, because we were just flashing out, but we were flashing out, we are flashing out from local storage, but not from the current state. So this is what we're going to do right now. Oh, come on. These videos get lengthy. All right, so let's log in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's our login. And then when you log out, great. So you can see it is working very well. You can log in, maybe customer 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we are logged in. Okay, so you can see it is the right customer. Okay, the customer email and what is there. Okay, so we can have the switch. Okay, then we log out. Okay, so we get the logout and then we've logged out the user. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and support. If you really want to support, the link is there in the description. The details are there. You can use World Remit or anything that you really feel enables you to support this channel. Thank you so much. Let's meet in the next video. At least we are done with authentication. You can go so into details, and we're going to go now to our user dashboard and everything that we need for Vue.js. Let's meet in that video.